Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's really pretty here in Oklahoma. The sun is shining, but boy, it's turned on the heat too. And we're in the middle of a heat wave here, and it makes it just almost impossible, if you're used to air conditioning, to go outside and sit for any length of time and have a discussion. So I've decided to come in here in the living room and have a talk. Out on the porch, the air conditioning unit's running, and I'm afraid y'all wouldn't be able to hear me. And I really wanted to spend a little bit of time just having a conversation. So the old gray mare ain't what she used to be, and she got a little bit longer in the tooth today. Yet today is my birthday, and I'm not a bit afraid to tell you that I'm 52 years old. And there was a time several years ago that, you know, the birthdays were getting to be kind of nail biters for me, but I have embraced it. I've just decided that, you know, 52 is not so bad, and I've got some grays, got quite a bit of grays, got some wrinkles if you look close enough, and I'm just embracing being a meemaw. I'm enjoying life. I have found my joy again, and I'm embracing it. I'm excited about what the future might hold. Well, I thought that I would share a few little things with you today that I have learned in the 52 years that the Lord has blessed me and allowed me to be on this earth. A few things that I have learned through hard knocks, and a few things that I have learned from gleaning wisdom to being around people way smarter than I am, and a few items that the Lord has just allowed me to be able to see and feel in my heart. The first little thing that I would say today is that we can't change the past. So many of us find ourselves at this stage of our life, and maybe even younger, regretting the past, regretting things that we went through or things that we might have even put other people through. The truth of the matter is that we cannot go back and change our whole past. Are there things that we're sorry happened? Of course there are. Are there things that we wish we would have done differently or behaved differently? Yes, there are. There are things that we can fix simply by apologizing, trying to do things differently. And there's other things that we can't change no matter what. Now, we can get forgiveness for those things, but we can't always change a situation once it's been set into motion. And it's best, if we've done all that we can do to right wrongs, then the best thing for us is to move forward and try to live right going forward. And those things that have hurt us, you know, a lot of times we spend our entire life being hurt over something that happened when we were young. You know, all of us have instances. You can plug yours right in there, that I was hurt X time. And a lot of people have really true hurts in their lives. But if we stay back there in that hurt and we keep ourselves in that victim mentality the rest of our lives. So I challenge you folks to move forward, stay in the present, and focus on planning for the future. And don't worry about the things of the past that you can't change. Yes, there's regret, but we have to move on. Things don't always turn out the way that you wanted them to. You know, last week we talked about the paintings of our lives and how, you know, we compared it to Bob Ross and how he would have that beautiful portrait painted, and then he'd say, let's put a happy little tree right here, and he would go right down through the middle of it, and we would think, oh, he's ruined it. But what he was really doing was drawing you into the picture. And so we made a parallel about us being drawn into our lives and not being afraid to go past that happy little tree and see what was in the distance. But you know, sometimes we have these big dreams and big hopes and big plans, and it doesn't always go the way we plan. We chasing after that job, or we're chasing after that fancy vehicle or that big dream house or whatever it is. And we run and chase after it for years and years and years. And sometimes even putting people that we have in our lives to the side to chase after that goal. And then after years we look back and we realize, we lost all that valuable time with our family member because we were trying to obtain the thing that we thought was going to bring us and our family's happiness. All the time we were missing out on the family and pushing them to the back to obtain that thing that was not really ours to begin with. So be prepared that things don't always go our way. Now that seems like it's a lesson from our childhood that we should have learned, that things don't always go our way. And I know there were times when Blade was little that I would say, Blade, the world doesn't revolve around you. I've been told that myself growing up, and you know what? It's true. The world doesn't revolve around you. There's a whole lot of things that are a whole lot more important than us having everything go just the way that we want it to go. So always remember that things don't always go the way you have it planned. The next thing I would say is always remember that other people's opinions of you and your life doesn't make it fact. You'll find out if you live long enough that all manner of people will form opinions of you. Sometimes they're good opinions, sometimes they're not so good. And they sometimes will form those opinions because they're listening to someone else that's whispering in their ear and telling them things. And so they have it all figured out before they even really know you, just what kind of person that they think you are. And just keep reminding yourself that their opinion doesn't make it fact. They may be saying all kinds of things about you, but just because they're saying it doesn't mean that's the way it is. You know yourself. Now, if they're going around telling everybody that you're the biggest grouch in town and that's really the way you treat other people, maybe that's something for you to work on. But you know yourself that if something is being said and that it's not true, that the opinion that they have is false. Well, the next lesson that I have learned in the 52 years that the Lord has blessed me with is that you don't need everyone's approval. Now, this has been a lesson that's really been hard for me down through life. And I have always struggled with feeling like that if I didn't do this for this person and this for this person and this for this person, that I wouldn't have their approval. I thought that as long as everybody stayed happy with me, that everybody liked me, that meant that they approved of me and that I would have all of these friends and be popular with all of the folks around me. That's just simply not true. You'll find yourself chasing your own tail, trying to please everybody and not really making anybody happy. So make sure that you're living your life doing the very best that you can, but not trying to chase after things that don't really fit into what the Lord has for you. If you know that it's something that you're not skilled at, doesn't mean that you don't try to learn new skills, but don't try to overwhelm yourself with seeking everyone's approval by saying, yes, I'll do this, and yes, I'll take on this task, and I'll do this thing. Get yourself overwhelmed to where nothing gets done. Now, there have been positive and negative lessons all throughout my life, and I guarantee in the 52 years that I've lived, I've learned that your parents know a whole lot more than you thought they did. You know, you start out thinking that your parents are your heroes, you know, that your daddy is your first hero, or, you know, you're just enamored with mama or grandma or whomever. Then you get to a certain age and everything that your parent says happens to be different than the way you feel or the way you think things are. Then you get out on your own and you think your parents know nothing. And then it's not long you find out that, wait a minute, my parents knew a whole lot more than I thought they did. Those lessons are valuable lessons for us to learn and to pass down to future generations, remembering the things that our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents taught us. They weren't so dumb. Next on the list, I would say, always speak the truth. Now, I've shared before the stories about my Granny Patton and the time that she caught me in a lie. I thought that I had told a little white lie, partial truth, and there's no such thing as a partial truth or a little white lie. They're all, if it has any part of fiction, falsehood to it, it's a lie. My granny taught me that lesson, and I saw the disappointment in her eyes. And from then on, I learned to always speak the truth. Now, you should speak the truth in love. You don't just go in and be so brutal with your truths that you just absolutely hurt somebody in their heart. But we speak the truth in love. Always be honest, always be truthful. It's the best way to not get yourself tripped up. The more that a person speaks the untruth, the more they have to remember what they told this person, what they told that person. It's way easier if you just tell the truth, and then you don't have to worry about forgetting. I'm like that. I'm going to forget 30 minutes after I told you something. But if I told the truth, I guarantee you that's going to jog back to me, and it's going to be, oh yeah, that's right. But if I've told a fib, I have to think about it and ponder about it and think, what exactly was it I told them? Because you don't want to get caught in a lie. So always speak the truth. Always speak the truth in love. Always do your best to be gentle and compassionate. You know, this world is full of people that have no gentleness and no compassion. Their job is to totally tear you down, totally humble you. They feel like it's their right to tell the world all about you and to point out imperfections that they see in you, your shortcomings, all of those things. They feel like they have that right. But we should be gentle and compassionate with one another. Instead of trying to knock off somebody's crown, just reach up and straighten it up. If you see somebody that's struggling, having a hard time, do your best to be an encouragement. Do your best to be gentle and compassionate with them. Find a way, if you can, to try to help them. You may not have money. I don't have the money to help a whole lot of people. I'll be honest with you. I barely make it myself. But you can find other ways. Maybe you just need to make a casserole for them, or send them a card, or take them a flower out of your flower bed, or pick a bunch of green beans or a basket of tomatoes and take it to them. You'd be surprised what your compassion and your gentleness and your mercy would do for the other person, and it'll benefit you too. The next lesson that I learned has always been a hard one for me, and it's laugh at yourself. And it's taken me my entire life to be able to laugh at myself. And I have always taken it to heart. And I have always been one that I have always enjoyed laughter and laughing at funny jokes and watching funny movies and all that kind of stuff. But I've never been one that has enjoyed a laugh at my expense. I have always felt like whomever was laughing was putting me down, or was making me less of a person. And it's because of things that happened throughout my lifetime that's made me that way. And there are a lot of people that face that in their childhood, and so now any kind of thing that would happen that would cause others to laugh makes you feel like you're under a microscope and that you're being criticized. But I have finally learned, after all of these years, that being able to laugh at yourself and the silly things that you do, that's just a part of being joyful in your life and being relaxed and being able to enjoy yourself and others around you. When I think about the amount of time that I wasted on this planet being miserable because I did something and other people laughed and I wasn't able to laugh at myself, I kind of want to scold myself sometimes, because now I realize that I say funny things, and sometimes words get all twisted up, like I called the kids pigs the other night. I do those kind of things. And if you lived here at my house on a daily basis, Blade and Shine, if they were in here, they would tell you she does funny things. And it's so much better if you get to a place where you can laugh at yourself, laugh at the crazy things that you do. Then you begin to release being so tense about everything, and you enjoy life, and you enjoy the laughter. And if you can face the fact that you sometimes do silly things, sometimes you do crazy things, and you should laugh at yourself, then you're going to be a whole lot happier. And the Bible says that laughter does good like a medicine. And I would rather laugh and have good medicine that way than having to take something that the doctor prescribed, because I'm so stressed and so knotted up in it with nerves and everything else, and stressed out to the point that I have to have some kind of medication. I would rather laugh and let it be released and move on. Now, the last life lesson that I have for today, certainly not the least and certainly not the last on the list that I've ever learned, but last for today, lesson would be express your gratitude. Me and the kids last night watched the movie Courageous. It's an older movie, and if you've seen it, then you know the context of the movie. If you haven't seen it, it's a movie about men standing up and taking their rightful place as fathers in their families, and being there for their children, being examples, setting standards, and living up to them. But in the movie, it brings out the dad dealing with the death of his daughter. And he's in there talking with his pastor. And the conversation between the pastor and the dad really perked my ears up, and I started to listen to what they were saying. And of course, most of you that's watched my channel for any amount of time know that that our family went through the loss of my sweet Howie. And I thought about all of the ways that I've dealt with my grief and how I went through the different stages. And I watched how they brought out in this movie, when he was talking to his pastor, how he was dealing with his. And he basically told the pastor that he was numb and he didn't know how to feel. He was really trying to hold on to the Lord and trying to do all that the Lord was leading and guiding him to do, but he didn't understand it. He didn't know. And I'll tell you, I've been in that place myself, never wanting to question the Lord and say why, just accepting and going on. But here's what the pastor told him, Josie paraphrasing again. The pastor told him that he could be angry over the time he lost because he was thinking about not getting to go to her graduation, not getting to walk her down the aisle for her wedding. And she, in fact, in the movie, she was just a little girl. I think she's 7 or 8 years old, 9 years old maybe. And the daddy was thinking about all the times ahead, the what ifs. And the pastor told him, said, you can be angry about all the time that you don't have, that you've lost, or you can be grateful for the time that you had. And that really hit home with me when I listened to that last night, when I watched that movie. It really hit me in the heart that is exactly how it is. You can be angry over all of the time that you're going to miss, or you can be grateful for the time that you had. That's what I choose to do. That's what I've learned in the 52 years that I've been on this earth, is to be grateful for the time that I had. And what a time I had. 28 years with Howie, and I want to be grateful for that time. Grateful for the time that we raised Blade to be a godly young man. Grateful for the little bit of time that we got to have Cheyenne as a daughter-in-law together before he left us. Grateful for all of the time that we spent in ministry together. And I'm grateful for this life. I'm thankful that my parents, they were young. My mama turned 17 2 weeks before I was born, and my dad was 17. And although things happened in life and they went different directions and things were bumpy there for a while, I'm grateful that my parents chose to let me be born into this world, because there's a lot that don't get that opportunity. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that the Lord has given me a platform, I feel like, here on YouTube that I never dreamed of. I never, ever would have dreamed that I would have something to say to others and that they would actually listen to me. This bashful, backward, crazy country girl from Arkansas, I would have never dreamed that I would have anything that would be of any significance to anyone else. But God is greater than all things, and He sees all. I've learned a lot in my 52 years, and I feel like I have more to learn. We all do. Until we check out, every day is a new opportunity to learn something new. Now, I don't really practice fortune cookies. I don't believe that there's any power in them. I'm sorry, I don't. I hope that doesn't offend you. But I do like to crack them open and read them, because Howie and I used to get a chuckle out of them. But Cheyenne took me today for a birthday lunch. Her and I and baby Howie, of course, he had baby food. We went and we had Chinese food, and I broke open my fortune cookie and got tickled with what it said. I thought it was kind of funny with it being my birthday. It said, see, I should have wrote it down. It said something to the effect of, I will have a long and prosperous life. Well, who wouldn't take that? You know, I don't know the future. I may have a long and prosperous life. I could check out tomorrow. But whatever it is on God's time clock for me, I know that I'm thankful for the time that I've had. 52 years, what a great and wonderful thing. When I look down life's road and I think about how many years I've been out of high school, and it really gets me to thinking about how old I really am getting. But I'm blessed. And I say with all seriousness, 52 years has been blessed. Yes, there's been some downfalls. Yes, there's been some tragic days. There's been tears. There's been sorrow. There's been pain. There's been sickness. But oh my, there's been joy. There's been blessings. There's been gratefulness. There's been all manner of good things from the Lord in these years. And I'm blessed by every one of them. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little talk today, that you've enjoyed your time with me on my birthday. And I thought that I would just be candid about how I felt after 52 years. I woke up this morning and thought, what have you learned in this time? Has this time been profitable? Have you, being on this earth, offered anything? And I surely hope it has. I hope I've encouraged your hearts to laugh at yourself a little bit, not to take yourself too seriously, not to try to please everybody, but to also be gentle and to be loving and to be grateful. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. I love you. I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household. Until next time, we're gone.